Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey,
My name's Aaron. This is our Trio Talks. We're going to have these starting on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. As with me, as always, Patrick and Daryl. Guys, how are you today?
Good morning.
it's excellent. We have extra coffee since we're at 9 a.m. Pacific, and we're still absorbing our caffeine over here on the West Coast because it's been, I don't know, feels like a long time since we've seen the sunshine up in the Northwest, but today there's a glimpse of it. So
Well,
everybody's
that's good.
pretty excited. Don't need as much caffeine this morning.
But Patrick, I didn't realize it. It's noon
It's
where you're
lunchtime
at,
for me
huh?
right now. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you're on your fifth cup of coffee now. So there you go.
Yeah. Fortunately not, but I could have
Live
done
through
it.
the snowstorm, right?
Exactly. I got my my shoveling muscles in shape on this
Good
trip.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Nice.
Good for you. We have no sunshine here either in the Southwest, so there's still looking for that sun to come out sometime in February. So really excited about that. Much like Punxsutawney Phil, right? So, well, guys, it is Super Bowl week, so I always like to one of my favorite things about the Super Bowl are the Super Bowl bets. Obviously, I live in a place where that is very prominent, right? And so, but it's the prop bets that I think are the most fun. So I have a couple questions here for you. What do you think will be the length of the national anthem? Do you think it will be a minute and a half, or do you think it'll be longer? Now, short story, when I used to work and do the national anthems with the Seattle Seahawks, you had to be a minute and a half or less. So,
okay.
Yeah,
So there's
same thing with the San Antonio Spurs, minute and a half or less.
So it's
Who's
over
singing?
under bet now. Yeah, who's singing? It's
Anybody know?
It's a duet, so I'm thinking it's going to go over.
Long.
Right there.
I'm betting the over on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
gotta get your
duet,
screen
and
time.
yeah, exactly. And they don't normally work together, so they both got to get their thing in the sun, right? So I'm thinking that the over on that. How many times do you think Gisele Bündchen will be shown on the screen during the Super Bowl?
Oh, you mean once it starts after she's
once
done?
it starts, yeah. Like
Do you
actually
know,
during
do you
the
know
game.
if she's going to the game? Will she be there?
Well, this is the first time that the one of the teams is actually hosting the Super Bowl, right? So it's actually in her stadium. So I'm guessing probably yes. Now there's 20,000 fans attending and 30,000 cutouts. So
I don't know, man. Let's go for half a dozen.
Yeah,
Six.
I was gonna. That's probably a safe bet. I'll go if she's there. I'll say probably 8.
there you go. I would say at least 8, but I'm going to go with Daryl on this one. At least half a dozen, especially if it's like a fourth quarter comeback sort of situation.
Yeah. If he's doing
And
well,
then,
they'll show her. If he's not, then
exactly.
Right.
So this is my last one here. I've got one of these is an actual prop bet, and two of them are not. So how many times will the Buccaneers cannon go off during the game? Will Ronald Jones fumble on the goal line? And what will be the primary hair color of Miley Cyrus for the pregame concert? Which one of those do you think is an actual bet here in Las Vegas?
Oh,
So
I had
again,
to
how
pay
many
attention
times
to
will
the
the
question.
Buccaneers? No problem.
Yep,
So
cannon.
how many times will the cannon go off? Will Ronald Rojo fumble on the goal line? And what will be the primary hair color of Miley Cyrus?
Yeah, it's got to be the cannon.
Gotta be the
It's
cannon.
either that or the fumble. Which
Or
means
Cyrus. I would go
Well,
Cyrus.
you guys are
Cannon.
incorrect. It is Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, I was going to say
And,
because it's
Because it's wacky.
because it's stupid, right? So yes, that is the.
Those are fun.
that
I
is
mean,
the-
it brings people into the fold,
exactly.
and it makes
Exactly.
more money for Vegas.
There you go. We could definitely use that right now. So really exciting. So watch the Super Bowl. 50-year-old Tom Brady versus 18-year-old Patrick Mahomes. Really excited there. All right. All right. Let's move on to real estate news and what's going on with the industry and what's going on with America right now. Why don't we go and start with you, Patrick, and let's just talk about what sort of trends are you kind of seeing right now in terms of the housing market and how they kind of pertain to Trio?
We're still seeing a really tight market in Arizona, for example, and in like places like Austin, where there's just no supply. It's just it's so hot in terms of you're getting, 5 offers on every house within the first 2 hours as it hits the MLS. It's just craziness. So that's been kind of frustrating, and I don't see that slowing down, at least near term, quite yet, but eventually it will. So that's probably the biggest frustration that I see out there for the consumer trying to find a house to purchase. Daryl, what's your thought on that in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. I mean, that's the piece. We've got more folks out shopping now, and lower transaction per folks shopping, right? So I think that's definitely the continued trend, and you don't see it changing much here in the near future, right? Which is going to mean prices are going to be holding strong, and with interest rates continue to be low, we're going to have steady appreciation, and more new construction coming online. I mean, we've been talking with all sorts of groups that are lining up new stuff that we're going to be participating in, but then you've got to people have to locate into those areas, so it's not as freeing for them to live where they want, because the supply is being concentrated where stuff can be built out. In some of our markets now where we've got homes coming back on the market, like down in Georgia where we've got homes that are going through their turns, watch those Trio Ready weeklies, because that's where they come first. And things are selling super quick, and so if there's stuff in the area where folks are looking, we're doing our best to get that out as soon as we can, so that we can put our own folks back in the homes that we already own. But trend isn't going to shift, I don't think, for a while.
Yeah, and I think rates will stay low, Aaron, so it's going to keep housing more affordable for people in that regard, as far as payments concerned, with a 30-year mortgage. So,
well, that's good. But we did hear some unfortunate news in Q4 last year, right? And this was that article you were just talking about a little bit earlier.
Oh, with homeownership rates?
Yeah, homeownership rates and everything. What did that? If you could kind of quickly kind of summarize what that was saying, and we'll go ahead and put that in the link in the Facebook group for everybody.
Well, it was an article this morning in Housing Wire, for those of you that received that online, and basically showing that in the fourth quarter statistics, that white homeownership hit a record high, basically, of almost 75%, whereas it was a 9-year high, actually. And then in context, though, for Black Americans, homeownership dipped to the lowest rate since the first quarter of last year, and that was under 45%. So there's still a huge gap between races in terms of homeownership in this country. And I will tell you, though, that one of the things that we've seen with Trio is that it's actually like the reverse of that statistic. We're really being seen as a vehicle of housing finance for the minority communities, whether it's Black Americans, Hispanic, Native Americans, Asians.
Yeah, our rates are still above. I mean, over 50% of our customers are from Black households in America. So, I mean, clearly we're having a big impact there. We're still close to 80%, non-white participants in our program. So we're definitely, able to help more folks in, and there's a wide combination of that. I think people feel our program is less threatening. Maybe they're not going to get told no, not the same bankers that they're used to working with, right? I mean, look at us, we're not bankers. So I think that there's a lot of positives that we're able to do with our program. And not just that, but when you look at the way that folks make money now, that's really why those folks are coming to our program. Just to reiterate, it isn't because of what I said about not being bankers. It's because we actually look at income, we understand mistakes, we can critically analyze whether the risk is there for us, and we get to make those decisions on that risk, and don't have to worry about someone downstream, like the mortgage industry does, saying, hey, you did this wrong, getting their hand slapped and having to buy back loans. So we've got a great vehicle for that segment of the population, for sure. And I think that's one of the things that we're going to be promoting with the new administration as well, is the emphasis on minority homeownership, and how our program has been able to help with that.
I want to point out, somebody was agreeing with you guys on terms of the the home ownership and the challenges going on right now. This is kind of a crazy one. In Arizona, somebody had 56 offers and 76 showings on a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Chandler, Arizona.
That's just insane.
Yeah, thanks for the comment. It's like brings it to reality,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely crazy, and and like Patrick said, you know, the greater Phoenix area and the Austin area probably are our hardest hits right now. So, in terms of inventory and things like that, so. All right, well, let's move on to some Trio news. And one of the things that we introduced in our last one was our new referral fee structure. And remember, it's a new tiered referral fee structure. It's less than it was before. For agents on their first transaction, they're going to be, there's a 20% referral fee. On their second transaction, it'll be a 15% referral fee. And on that third transaction and the ones moving forward will be at a 10% referral fee. So we got this question last time, and I get this question every time I mention it. So I think it's the way I'm talking about it. But this means that you get 80% of your commission, 85% of your commission, and 90% of your commission.
Right.
You're not getting 10% of your commission. So
That's a big difference.
It's a big difference. It is. Math, right? So how are we doing so far? How are people taking advantage of this in terms of our agents doing multiple offers right now in January and already moving into that Trio Preferred Plus status right now?
Yeah, I mean, we've got several agents already that are already on that 10% referral fee level. So that, they're off to the races to start the year. It's pretty amazing, actually, and they're obviously excited about the change on our end. So and we've had some new brokerages sign on as well, which is really good to see. And so that's been recognized on as well. But
and I'd say that on that same note, we're sending out more referrals as well than I think we ever have. So being on that Trio Preferred agent list, making sure that you're responding to those folks when we send them out to you is super important. And I think that's one of the big benefits of working with us, is that we are very active in sending referrals out to the agents that close business with us, and we give those folks priority. So doesn't mean you have to get to the 10% quickly or anything like that, but it means that we're going to support your business as well.
Absolutely. Some people were kind of surprised to get those referrals this week, and it's a good thing. We want to make sure that, if you're doing good business, you're showing us how to do it, and you're closing with us, we're going to be sending you referrals, right? And it kind of depends on how many referrals are in that neighborhood. It's not a guarantee every week and every month, but it does happen. And so some areas are just a little bit more popular right now than others in terms of that option. So,
yep, that's great.
And then last thing, do you want to talk about the home search and excuse me?
Yeah, you go ahead and pause there. But so we're working with the team right now. It's a group we've worked with for a number of years, and we're developing an online new search technology that will pull in not just MLS, but also off-market properties, and we'll be tying in Trio eligible homes into that, so that more of our customers can go direct into working on where do they want to live in the neighborhoods and what type of homes are available, also opening up some supply, which is what we're looking to do with this. But for our agents, they'll be able to connect into the system. We did pilot this last year, so we've gone through a cycle. We're making some changes into the technology so that it's easier for people who are using that to understand kind of the handoff, if you will, and how they get approved for our program, and then shopping for homes. So this is something that will start off definitely with the TPA, the agent preferred networks that we already have, but it will also expand with our as we expand nationally later this year. So it's very exciting. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Really excited.
Another way for agents to get participation, and we'll there's a lot of stuff still needs to be done, but just want to precursor that for you guys, that we've got something pretty exciting that we're building that'll help you get business, not just from us, but from also other folks that are in and subscribing into the system.
It's really exciting. I think it's going to be great because we're going to be getting a lot of good leads from customers, ones that are really eager to buy and looking to do stuff. And we actually have a lot of new agents in the room today and a lot of new agents in the Facebook group. So I have a question here from Terry Willis. Hey, Terry. And I think this might be a good time to go ahead. She's brand new. She just joined this morning in the Facebook group, which is cool. But I think this might be a good time to just kind of what is the difference between a Trio ready home and then everything else on the market for new folks out there? Just kind of make sure that we kind of cover that. So let's kind of cover what a Trio ready home is first. Patrick, I'm going to throw this one on over to you.
A Trio ready home is typically a home that's been turned over, that we've already financed, typically. It could be a home that we're working with a developer or a new construction builder, that we've pre-priced some of their product and are offering that and promoting that as a Trio ready home as well. So those are kind of the typical two, methods or vehicles of Trio ready homes, if you will. But they're ready. I mean, they're ready to step into and be occupied right away. So
it usually means a shorter closing, right? And
you got it. Yeah.
To answer her question, yes, we do have one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but it is pending right now. So each Thursday we send out an email with all those Trio ready homes, so you can go ahead and take a look at them, start shopping with them with your customers. Customers in our system also get this email as well. And right now there's about 10 homes on the list, and there's only one Dallas-Fort Worth home. But Daryl, does that mean that's the only Dallas-Fort Worth home that is eligible for the Trio program?
Great question, Aaron. And of course, any home in your MLS search is eligible for Trio that falls within the FHA loan limits, right? So that's what's great about our program, is anything that's out there is available. New construction is great. And the Trio ready, why that number is so small is in Dallas in particular, is that, we just started our program down there, a little over a year ago. Yeah. So those are typically homes that we did, make some kind of speculative work that we did down there. So we made some commitments to homes, and we're still, we look at portfolios on a fairly regular basis in all of our markets. And you'll see that a lot of our homes are, like I said, in Georgia, where we've, been in that market, in California, for quite a long time, where we've got folks that are now moving out, purchasing, et cetera. So the typical quote unquote Trio ready home is one that we already had leased. And for some reason that family decided it wasn't the right fit for them. They wanted to move on. So we remarket those homes, and in particular, to get another Trio occupant in those properties. But we also work, like Patrick said, with listings that certain either builders or agents are trying to promote, and we'll pre-price those, like you said, and advertise those out to you guys.
So pay attention to those Thursday newsletters. And honestly, guys, I think it's great that we have very little Trio ready homes, right? That shows that customers stay in our program. They get to the finish line. They buy their houses, right? I think if there's a large inventory, then we have a different issue, right? So,
right.
So that's
good point, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah. Right. There's a different issue out there, and so this is good. There's very little Trio ready inventory, but that doesn't mean, like you said, go on the MLS, look for it in that price point. Those are the ones that we can absolutely finance and help customers out. Terry says, thank you. Absolutely. That's why we have this, so you can answer those questions. And especially for new people out there, this is fantastic. All right. We have one less.
You had another question. Somebody asked about, are we in Phoenix? And yes, we are in Phoenix.
We are in Phoenix, all over Phoenix, all over Arizona, and Tucson as well. This last question here, before we move on to the main topic: can a new build be purchased through Trio? This is a question I know we lightly address in the training, but it's a good question that everybody has a question on. So,
absolutely,
who wants? Okay. Yeah. Yes.
We love new builds. In fact, one of the most successful agents with our program specializes in new construction homes, and has gone through and taken the time to pre-educate the on-site sales teams of those builders and the builders themselves to understand what our financing program means for them and our customers that are coming to their homes, or when they have customers that aren't able to get qualified for some reason, for us to be an ability to step in at that point for them. So, yes.
And Patrick, it's not just local builders that are participating in that, right?
No, national builders as well. We've financed a number of homes from some of the biggest names in the industry, like D.R. Horton, Lennar, KB Homes. I could rattle off several others, Meritage and whatever. But so the more the merrier. We also love new construction homes from the standpoint that it's lower maintenance for the customer during their lease period. So they have, less of a concern of trying to maintain their home. They can rely better on even the builder warranties if something goes wrong, and then use that time to save money towards what's ultimately important in succeeding in their home ownership venture. So, So anyway.
Actually, I had some great conversations with new home builders yesterday and wanting to expand what we can do with them in terms of opportunities for new homeowners. So cool. Really, really excited for that. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I just want to real quick, don't forget to hit like that you like this video, and don't forget to hit the notification, get reminder bell so that you get these emails or get these videos. But to kind of answer this person's question, we do these videos probably every 2 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. And the last video we did was actually how to work with new home builders with Trio. So go take a look at that one. It's in the Facebook group, right? And so it's in there. It's also on the YouTube page. You can go ahead and watch it there. So we do a great segment on how to go ahead and introduce Trio to new home builders and help kind of create that pipeline for you for future transactions with customers. So go ahead and take a look at that. All right, let's move on to what we were going to talk about originally today, which was a simpler Trio Lease Fee Structure. And this is kind of fun, right? And just real quick, why did we kind of go about this? What was kind of the idea behind this?
Yeah, I think one of the areas that we've really tried to do is to, obviously we want to keep our fees as low as we can up front, right? And at the same time, we want to give some incentives for customers, and that's where the $400 came from. And originally, those fees were just a couple of fees with some change, and then we added more features, which, like the Trio Success program with our home purchase assistance that we have, and our home payment protection policies, right? So those kind of bells and whistles added another line item. And so we kind of grew the suite of fees, if you will, up to a number of line items. And we decided that, we wanted to reverse that trend, simplify things as best we can so that for everyone out there, it's a lot easier to talk about, here's how the Trio's fees are. There's an inception fee of this, and there's a, program administration fee of Y. So, thanks, Aaron. So here's the new fee structure. It's really just 2 items, and that's our standard inception fee, which is the origination fee that we charge, which is 1% of the home price. And then we charge a single underwriting and program administration fee of $12.95. For all of your customers, meaning all of the agents listening, all of your customers will get $400 off of that $12.95. So we haven't taken away the discount, right, that you're able to provide that others can't. So if consumers aren't using TPAs, they do not get this $400. So a lot of the agents over the years have promoted that, helped bring customers in, and then been able to deliver that discount to them. So the $12.95 now covers everything that our 4 other fees used to cover, and it's all built in. The fees have been reduced, obviously. And, we had some debate on whether to leave the $400 and advertise the $12.95 or just reduce it down to, $8.95 and call it a day. So as you can see, we made the decision to leave that $400 incentive for all of you so that you can continue to market yourselves and adding value to the customer in the fee reduction. So, I think the other thing, Aaron, is that every time you do a training and the agents went through this and you're learning, it's like you got underwriting fee, and then you've got your program and your Trio Success, and it's $225, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's too much. So we just cut it down.
No, this is great. And real quick on the $400 off, that's if they're using a true preferred agent and now a lender, correct? So that's a change right there.
You mean or a lender, right? Yeah.
Or a lender. Yeah, yeah.
They don't
So
get
that's
800.
a
They get
no, no,
400.
no.
Exactly.
But you're absolutely right. This is simpler and this is actually reduced. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a quick math here. I've got my calculator here. So let's take a $300,000 home. Okay. So you got inception fee of $3,000. You've got the $1,295. If they're not using a Trio preferred agent, it would be $4,295, right?
Mhm.
But it's a great way to advertise, like Daryl said, right? It's $400 off. So minus $400, well, it's $3,895, right? And that's what the customer will need, as opposed to like a $300,000 home for closing costs and down payment. You're looking at close to $20,000, right? And so this is it's a fifth of that right there. So it's a big difference right there.
And if you look at the numbers now, what it takes to get into a rental these days, that's not easy either, right? So you're talking first, last, and a full deposit at least, with fees and whatever else they're adding. So the cost to get into Trio is, equal to or less than what it is for them to get into renting. And that's really what you need to be able to communicate to your customers, is that, yes, we do it differently because it's a financing deal here. It's not a rental agreement, but the overall money out of your pocket is going to be the same if you sign up and move into a new house for rent instead of using Trio. You're not helping yourself out, right? It's much better to work with one of you guys to find a new home that they really want to be in, and you get a long-term lease. I mean, the thing that people don't remember is that unless there's a change in property taxes and the escrows on the mortgage that's substantial, people have the same payment for 3 years before they purchase, right? So, I mean, we close on homes every month for folks that are buying from us. And I just looked at one yesterday, and they've been in there for 32 months. They paid the same amount every single month. There's not one rental out there that paid the same amount for the last 32 months. So when you're talking about the program and it's a renter converting to Trio, thinking about home ownership, talk about those long-term stability benefits. And that's a 3-year lease. Even if they don't purchase, they're not getting kicked out, right? They pay their payments. There's no landlords going, oh, I want to sell that house next year. Sorry, the market's too hot. You're out of here. Good luck to you. I'm selling your home. So, the benefits and the flexibility we built into this product is not just to transition people. It's also to help people understand that it's a more secure way to, put their family into a home for the next 3 years. And, hopefully they'll purchase and see the value in what we're driving, right? I mean, it's still, anyway, I won't get on my soapbox on why people leave and don't purchase and like walk away from $50,000, but they do it.
I have a quick story about that. We had an agent that called me about 3 weeks ago. She was helping 2 customers find a rental, and they had spent about $500 on just rental applications alone, right? Remember, this is a free application with Trio, and that agent was only going to get the rental agreement. They weren't going to get a full commission, right? And so they went ahead and applied with Trio. They were approved, and now they're shopping for a home together, right? For something longer term. These are folks that didn't think that they could be homeowners, and that kind of shows you the beauty of the program, right? We've joked about it's a smarter way to rent, but it really is. It gives people a lot of flexibility, but it also gives them the opportunity to go ahead and become that homeowner. But again, it's a free application. We don't charge a pet deposit, things like that, right? So it's going to be very close to the same pricing as renting, but now you get so much more on top of it, which is really, really fantastic. Oh, we have a thank you here from Germain Property Group. Absolutely. This is great. Yeah, they absolutely love this. This is a good question right here. And this is one we kind of go over in the training, but looks like I need to hit it a little bit harder. Also from Jermaine's Property Group, are the signing fees in addition to the first month's rent?
So the answer to that is that yes, the signing fees, of course, are in addition to the first month's rent, but they don't pay their first month until they move in. So if you think about the timing of a real estate closing, right? They're signing their lease before appraisal is ordered. then there's going to be another 2-3 weeks ahead of that until they're actually moving in when they need to make that first month's payment. So yes, they do need to make their monthly payments, and they do need to make their first months when they move in. So great question.
Yeah.
And I think people think it all has to happen at the same time, and like you said, it does not, right? So that's a great question right there. All right, guys, we have a few more minutes left, so I want to kind of tease people with something that we are going to be introducing here in just a little bit, but we will be introducing. Let me get it up there. We will be introducing a Trio podcast here very soon, so that's really exciting. We'll be today's Trio Talks will be posted on there on the podcast. So we'll be sending out information about that in the Facebook group and in the newsletter so that you guys can go ahead and find it on Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, and all those places where you find your podcast. So we'll be putting that on there. We'll probably also be putting some in addition sort of things on there, but this was actually a request from agents. And as things start to open up a little bit, one of the things that I keep hearing is that they now get to start doing open houses. They're starting to now show customers homes. And so they're in their cars and they can't obviously, we don't want them watching something while they're driving, right? So a podcast is the great way to go ahead and do that. And this is a great way to make sure that everybody's still getting that information out there. So we'll be introducing that Trio podcast, hopefully this week.
Fantastic.
And the last, I think it's really going to be fun. So the last thing, I just want to challenge you guys. This is a challenge for agents out there to host a consumer event this spring. We've talked about them in our trainings, right? Consumer events. Most agents are kind of afraid of them. Maybe they've done them before and it hasn't been a hit. Maybe they've just not wanting to speak in front of people. Well, this is one that you can actually do with Trio. We would be happy to help you out with this. Would be happy to go ahead and actually do the presenting. All you have to do is be the pretty face that introduces people, that is everybody knows that you're in charge of the event and that they come to you to go ahead and buy that home. And so consider doing a customer event, especially this spring as things start to ramp up, people getting excited to go ahead and move. So really, I'm challenging you to please go ahead and do something like that. I think it'll be really, really fun out there. Well, good
idea.
All right. So one last thing, guys, who are we taking for the Super Bowl one last time? Patrick, I know who you're taking.
It's the Chiefs, man. There's no way they're going to lose this game.
All right.
Mind you, I mean, whoever I vote for always loses. So
I got to call my bookie now.
So I'm got to be straight up. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady, but I respect Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And when you look the last 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, right? We had a week pause. They should have lost, but they won.
Yeah,
they really should have lost.
That's why he's the GOAT.
I'm not gonna go against them.
I love it though. It's the GOAT against the kid, with the kid being a GOAT as well to beat. Right. So
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers here. I'm gonna go. I think if the Chiefs get behind like they did in the last Super Bowl, it's too far. We know that Tom Brady's going to come back and win it in the fourth quarter or something. So we'll see. I'm hoping for a Tom Gronk thing. I totally respect him too. I also dislike him too. So there you go.
I hope the Chiefs win, just to be straight up. I mean, I do hope that the Chiefs win, but I don't think I would bet against.
I'd like to see Bruce Arians get a Super Bowl ring. Actually,
I would too. Yeah,
I just don't think they can
He's
beat
a character.
The Chiefs. That's all. The Chiefs are
quite the character.
Freaking dynamic.
Both coaches are characters, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, folks. I see there's some other questions there. I'll go ahead and answer them on the Facebook group so that you have those answers in writing. And thank you so much. We'll have one of these again in 2 weeks. In the meantime, if you have questions about this or anything like that, you can send them into info@ThinkTrio. You can also post them in the Facebook group, and we'll go ahead and answer those questions for you on the next Trio Talks. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Bye.
Thanks.